One of the only SUVs in the large luxury segment that hasn't went through a full refresh, Infiniti Clearwater has given us the 2023 Infiniti QX80 Sensory in champagne quartz over saddle brown. The interior got a light refresh a couple years ago. One of the only variants that is a naturally aspirated V8 in its segment when you're looking at Mercedes or BMW. Audi will not have something that is this long, nor will it have the towing capacity. Well, what does an Infiniti QX80 really have? I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. I'm going to go over all the specs and details, starting now. Well, it starts off with a more dominant fascia because this sits up higher than the reworked BMW X7 and the Mercedes GLS eye-inspired LED headlamps and daytime runnings. Going down to the lower bit, you're going to get your LED fog lamps with this glass-like look. It's not going to be Swarovski crystals like a BMW 7 Series, but it gives itself its own dominant stance with clearance over 9 inches, which is also the best in class. We don't have any air suspension here. We don't need it. Because we have a hydraulic body motion control system in which other vehicles would put air suspension, so that would help the comfort in the ride. Here, 2 hydraulic systems connected by the cross-link hydraulic pipes to the 4-wheel independent suspension hydraulic cylinders absorb the road bumps and help reduce body lean when cornering. This will keep the vehicle comfort through different terrain and viewable for the driver and passengers in the cockpit. And that grille, just take a look at that. It's so large because it has to have air to breathe inside that naturally aspirated V8. And no, not going to sound like a broken record. I'm just going to say this thing has a lot of power underneath it for what you're getting with these 22-inch fog, dark, multi-spoke alloy wheels. The disc reading behind all of them at 13.8 inches. A length at 210.2 inches, a wheelbase at 121.2 inches. Gloss black on the A-pillar that shapes that windscreen, giving us a dynamic look in the front. The roof rails, you're going to be using this quite a bit because this is the longest, the tallest, and the widest compared to the Benz and the Beamer. And to top it off, the best-in-class towing, 8,500 pounds. This has been around for over a decade, and they haven't really changed it much. Why? Because it's a vehicle that doesn't need to be altered too much. I agree the exterior can have some changes, especially for this rear bumper, because it just pops out a little bit too much, making it a little bit harder to get inside. There's only one exhaust outlet. That is something I would change to, because this is a V8 naturally aspirated. I know, not a broken record, but it needs dual exhaust because the Beamer and the Benz, they're going to have more of an aggressive exit, and this has so much power underneath it. Only one engine option where you can get multiple engine options for the Beamer or the Benz. Power liftgate going inside to 20.2 cubic feet. It does take a little bit of time for it to open up. While we're waiting, your spare tire is tucked underneath, so that's going to give you a little bit of storage space underneath here, and then you'll have your toolkit, so that way you can lift up. You'll have all your power seat adjustments in the back with a 12-volt as well, and the third row split folds at a 60-40 split, which it does take a little bit of time, but you do not have to hold the button, so I do like that, but just a little time consuming. And that will increase your cargo to 49.1 cubic feet. Split fold the captain's seats, or you can fold it all the way upwards. 95.1 cubic feet of storage. It does have a little bit of a lip because the bumper does come out. If you want to take that tire, put the attachment right there and unscrew it. This is a naturally aspirated V8. We need to go inside, start it up so you can hear that exhaust note as soon as these doors close. And they back the performance with a 5.6 liter naturally aspirated V8 producing 400 horsepower and 413 pound-feet of torque. That's paired to a 7-speed automatic transmission, achieving 14 to 20 mpgs for the rear-wheel drive, reaching 60 at 5.9 seconds, with a quarter mile around 14.6 seconds and a top speed around 135 miles per hour. Going inside the Infiniti QX80, easy with the running boards and the grab handle. Headroom 39.6 inches, legroom 39.8 inches. The funny thing about this car is you get more head and legroom in the back seat. But what you get up here, 10-way power seat adjustment for the driver, 8-way power seat adjustment for the passenger, heated, ventilated, memory for the driver. Wood and the satin aluminum, and on the driver's side, wood and leather wrap, heated steering wheel, multi-function. Infiniti InTouch navigation with the pinch when it works, and the swipe that works better. You can make this a 2-screen, click into your menu options, and this you can configure the way you want for your wedges. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio, HD radio. Put it into reverse. We have a 360-degree reverse camera, full trajectory. The only disadvantage, as you're noticing, is it still does not cover up the whole screen. Digital rear view mirror, where you can have it this way, but it's digital. We got to move to the 21st century. Going into your dual climate control settings, this is how you open that up, and it's going to flip out to a wireless charging pad and a 12-volt, 2 USB, an A and a C. In your area here, this is rear-wheel drive, so we do not have a 4-wheel drive system, so just snow in tow. Cup holders here haven't been changed. This would be the new design for the key fob. Unfortunately, the QX80 has kept it to the old design. Here is your rotary knob that will control your infotainment screen, which you can do everything on the fly. It's going to be nice and soft for your elbows. Open up inside, and it's going to be a deep pocket. And because this is a brand new car, we have the tray that we just now uncovered. And here's how you turn on and off your home plug in the back, which it should be back there, but hey, Infiniti likes to do it that way. The gauge cluster has a TFT display that can go through an array of information for the driver with your turn-by-turn navigation, your Bluetooth, and any settings that you would like to change. The dashboard and the door panel have a nice entering together. The memory seats start off on the top, and I like that tweeter that's hidden right here. Just gives a nice little touch for the upgraded Bose sound system. Soft for your elbows, the pattern comes in, one touch up and down for all the windows, dual pane in the front, and a large storage pocket that you can fit probably a 32 to 44 ounce in the front, and a large sub in the back. We do get a moonroof, but no large pano for the back seat, just the air vents that's going to encase the whole headliner. I'm at 40 inches of headroom, 41 inches of legroom, 2-way manual seat adjustment for both occupants in the second row. We have the rear entertainment touchscreen here. You have your HDMI and your USB with your headphone jack. When you push this here, you'll have an SD card reader. You can also mirror these. So the entertainment is taken care of in the back. You get the pattern design behind the seats, storage behind both of the front seats, your third climate control, heated seats, USB port, home plug, and a 12-volt. The floor isn't flat, but it really doesn't matter. Your cup holders here where I put the remote, so that way it's easier, and it's A-B setup, obviously this being A. Open up inside here, and you got a pretty deep storage pocket. Unfortunately, it does not open up for the third row occupants like this does for the second row occupants, which is a really neat idea. More storage, we got it taken care of right here. Door panel, get your Bose upgraded sound system with the soft materials all over, one touch up and down for your windows, soft for your elbows, and a large storage pocket. One of the easiest access to go into a third row in the business. No need to change that. Once we get in here, fold it down, pull this back, and you can see my leg space is still not that bad. I am going to be sharing some feet space, and because of where the rail is right here, you either put it down or you're going to put it up, in which you're pretty much against there. But you have two cup holders, your power seat adjustment, and a large window with an air vent. Sitting into the third row, headroom 36.8 inches, leg space 28.8 inches. Check this out. If someone's rude, they want to lay their seat back, somebody at my height, 6'3", not gonna be able to fit. Sitting into the center, headroom is no issue, nor is leg space because these are captain seats in front of me. Feet space, I kind of have my own area, but shoulder space is going to be a little tight because of those cup holders that bulge out from the side. The QX80 is a sweet spot for SUVs, even though it has been a long time since they've done anything really to change the exterior or some of the interior components. But the savings is anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 on base MSRP, which is insane because you have more horsepower and torque in this. You have more towing capabilities. You have more payload. This is more of a rugged / everyday use truck and third row capabilities for your SUV. So you could do everything in this. When you get into BMW and Mercedes, don't get me wrong, they make an excellent vehicle, and the X7 did a great job with the LCI. But this thing is something special because of what you're getting as a package. And look at the performance. I mean, 0 to 60 under 6 seconds, which is the same speed as BMW and Mercedes. And it's a fraction of the price. Interior sound, you're gonna hear a little bit more in this than you will the new BMW X7. But 22-inch wheels we have. You can upgrade to 23-inch wheels now for the BMW. 22-inch wheels have been an upgrade for about 2 to 3 years now for Infiniti. So it just shows you that they've kind of went a little forward with some things. Yes, the interior does need an overhaul, plus the exterior. But for a package this inexpensive, it's hard to get this much luxury under $90,000. Because when you go into BMW, it's going to escalate to nearly $100,000 really quick, especially if you get the M Sport packages, in which makes it more aggressive looking on the exterior, and it brings some of that interior look to it as well. Same thing when you go to the GLS. It's going to escalate relatively quickly, and you have all of that same capabilities with this infotainment screen. Yes, it's not going to be a one-panel curved screen, but they did upgrade it a couple years ago, and this center cluster is a lot more clean, and it looks a lot more elegant. With that being said, that's going to take me to what I like and dislike. Starting off with what I like is this is still naturally aspirated V8. The only vehicle in its class that you're going to get 400 horsepower, 413 pound-feet of torque under $73,000. The second thing that I like about the vehicle is the interior space is the best in class comparing to Mercedes and BMW. When you get into the third row, you can fit. Comparing it to the Wagoneer, it's not as fancy as the Grand Wagoneer, but that price also escalates to over $100,000 so quickly, and now they're doing a twin turbo inline 6-cylinder. And this thing, I mean, look at this. You need it to go, you could do it. You got to be careful because there's cops right there. Visibility is awesome because 9.2 inches of clearance. The A-pillars are pushed back, that oval structure. It really feels dynamic with a long hood. The last thing that I like about the vehicle is the pattern that they put in the interior. They do the quilted look, and it fits the car because you're not really looking for the 21st century. You're looking for luxury with the amenities of a 21st century. Three things that I dislike: the entertainment TVs in the back. When you get into the new variants for the Jeep Wagoneer, it's touchscreen everywhere. Same thing when you get into BMW and Mercedes. This is what a naturally aspirated V8 can do. Look at it. I'm just gonna relax and let it push me back. The second thing that I dislike is the wood on the steering wheel, because this is actually the most firm materials on the car besides this center part of the dash. Everything is so soft, but then the steering wheel isn't. The last thing that I dislike is on the exterior. In the rear, the bumper comes out too much, and it makes it a little bit harder to put cargo inside because you have like a 6 to 8 inch lip with the bumper and then going into your cargo. It's just a little bit too much. And then the power seats, it takes a little bit of time to fold them down. The same thing with opening and closing that tailgate. The drive to this feels bold, very truck-like, but the suspension, it feels feels very smooth. So you could relax very easy, whether in traffic or not, your daily use, or just driving it on the weekend, or taking it for a long cruise. It's gonna feel wide, tall, and long. But because you have a lot of power underneath it, none of those attributes really matter. The steering to it is very light, considering the length and width of this vehicle. And if you need it to go, you push it, and the thing's ready to be fed. The V8 engine in this is something that will last. You don't have to worry about turbos or twin turbos, anything like that. Blind spots, you're not gonna have hardly any, but you're not gonna be turning your head that much either. Large windows, it's the largest windows in class. Longer and wider than BMW and Mercedes and the Grand Wagoneer. And you're getting all this package for a fraction of the price. We're getting some of the newer amenities, meaning we get the digital rear view mirror. You don't get that with BMW, you don't get that with Mercedes. You do with the Grand Wagoneer, but you're gonna spend at least $5,000 to $10,000 more than this. In the center area here, the cleanup has made it feel a little bit more new, and it has given it more of that clean vibe. It just, they do need to put something or change up the configuration a little bit. The top part isn't bad, it's just the way everything configures. You can see how it's just the same uniform on either the driver or passenger side. Over 210 inches of length for turn radius. What do we get? It's obviously going to be long, but 2-3 lanes. It's not going to be anything smaller than that. The Grand Wagoneer will be about the same, and that's the longest in length. It's also a little bit more wider, so that's why you have a little bit more interior space, and cargo space will be just a touch more in that because, again, it's a longer vehicle. Unfortunately, the adaptive cruise control with the lane keep assist is not activated where this car is still brand new. There's still a few things that I guess need to go through the PDI. We will not be able to demonstrate that, but that is a new feature that pretty much puts it spot on in today's time. I'd like to thank Infiniti of Clearwater for giving us this 2023 Infiniti QX80 for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, I don't know what you're waiting for. Click the next video and the subscribe button. Check out the merchandise website and Instagram and everything we do here at Hawkeye Rides.